I grew 500,000 followers across 18 months with no previous social media experience at all. And in this extensive training, I'm going to teach you everything that I know, everything that I learned, all the mistakes I made, all the problems I had, and ultimately how I managed to achieve that success, which in turn quadrupled my business and completely changed my life, changed me and my daughter's life. If you want that kind of success for yourself, you can have it too, and I'm going to teach you how. All I ask before we get into the video, please do grab a pad and please do grab a pen and just really focus, take notes, make the most of this, because there's a lot of very, very valuable information in here that could be pretty life-changing for you. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to the course on social media. I never thought in a million years I'd be sitting down in front of a camera to teach how to build a successful career via social media. 2 years ago, I was asking friends, I was asking my girlfriend to help me build my social media. And it really just felt for me like something I did not understand, something very foreign to me. And so it's interesting to me that now I find myself in the position where I'm often coaching people on how to grow their social media, coaching people on how to create opportunity through social media. And honestly, it's been life-changing for me. It's tripled, quadrupled my businesses, both as a coach and as a songwriter. And it's opened me to a whole host of opportunities that I just never could have even guessed. That's the coolest thing about social media, is you can't guess the kind of opportunities it's going to bring into your life. You just don't know. But the really cool thing is that every day you can put yourself out there and sow some seeds that will lead to something really exciting. And so when we're mastering social media, what I want to offer you going into this course is the perspective that you can empower yourself through social media. Not only that, but you can enjoy it. It can actually be for you. It can actually be something you enjoy, that feels authentic, that feels good for you. And there's as many ways to do social media as there are people and artists. And if you're watching this, you're probably like me, someone who is an artist, someone who is a business owner who cares more about that stuff than the social media side. And what I want to offer you before we dive into all of the different parts of the course is just, you can enjoy it. This course will teach you how to enjoy social media in a way which feels authentic, in a way which feels creative. And I want to offer you the perspective that when we are mastering social media, we're not really mastering social media. We're mastering ourselves. And we're mastering skills which are evergreen, which can be translated from any of the other kinds of media, translated into any of the other kinds of media. And I believe that the journey to become better at social media is actually a journey which will make you a better person overall. So I hope you love the course, and I hope that you can find it as life-changing as I have. And I think that if you take these principles and apply them to your business or your art, and you use these principles, you will find it life-changing. You will find it to be a complete character change. And I'm excited for you to go on this journey. It's been one of the most exciting things that has happened to me in my 15 years. Just a little bit of background about me. I did 15 years writing songs, going through the kind of usual struggles of getting them on the radio and getting in front of concert promoters and emailing people directly for gigs. And social media, more than anything, just gave me empowerment. It gave me my time back, and it gave me opportunities that I never ever could have dreamed of. So it's my genuine belief that it can do the same for you, and these principles are going to help you. Hope you guys love the course. Cheers. Your media mindset is the most important aspect to how successful you're going to be at social media. It's absolutely crucial. And here's why. The bottom line is, if you look at it as a necessary evil, if you think it's bad for your mental health, etc., you're never going to succeed at it. You're just not going to succeed at it. And no matter how much action, no matter how much courage, no matter how much determination you use to aim to get good at the skill of storytelling and creating attention through social media, until you have a good mindset around what social media is, what it's for, and who you are in relation to it, you are just going to keep struggling with it. And I know this because I struggled for years. And the reason why I struggled for years is because I had a bad mindset around it. I had a negative mindset around it. And that meant for me that no matter what action I took, I just always came back to the foundational problem of my media mindset. Notice that I'm not calling it a social media mindset. I'm calling it a media mindset. And that's one of the first big distinctions that I want to make about social media. When we first get into social media, our first experience of it is for friends, for family, for catching up with people, for being in touch with people, aka social media. You watching this as a business owner, as an artist, you're not looking to use it for those purposes. You're looking to create attention for your business, create connection, and build an audience, build a fan base. And let's be honest, you're looking to make a living and monetize it. So you cannot even be calling it social media. It's not social to you. It's not a place where you are going to be hanging out. It's not a place where you're going to be connecting to friends and family. First and foremost. First and foremost, it is media. First and foremost, it's attention and connection and opportunity for you and your business. I'm going to share a few mindset problems, a few sentences that could be really blocking your progress. And what I want you to do is listen to them and just ask yourself whether any of these sound familiar, whether you've heard any of these kinds of statements from other people or internally in your head. Just listen as I talk through them, and I want you to think whether you resonate with any of these, whether they feel familiar. Number one, and these are all examples, by the way, of a bad media mindset, bad social media mindset. Number one, it's a necessary evil. I hear people say this all the time. Oh, I don't like it. I don't really want to do it, but you have to these days, that kind of attitude. Number two, it's bad for mental health. Oh, I did a big campaign on social media. It really wasn't good for my mental health. It's not bad for your mental health. If you're scrolling on brain rot and garbage, of course that's bad for your mental health. That's not using media to find your audience. Number three, oh, I'm just not good at that. Have you ever heard anyone say that? Have you said that? I said that for years. I don't think I'm really good at that. As if you would be when you've never done it. It would be like, yeah, I'm just not that great at being a pastry chef. It's like, of course you're not great at being a pastry chef. You've never done it. Why would you be good at it? That makes no sense. Another one, if I lived in a different time, if I was an artist in the 70s, if I was a songwriter in the 70s, as if Bob Dylan or Neil Young or Joni Mitchell or whoever didn't have to go and do loads of radio shows, do loads of TV, put themselves out there, deal with annoying questions, deal with the public, deal with people they didn't want to deal with. It's a fallacy that there's ever been a time where people didn't have to do difficult things in order to create reward in their life. Another one, I need space to focus on my art. Again, it's a fallacy. It's a fallacy that there are people out there who simply only ever focus on the art. Look, maybe there are. Maybe there's unicorns. You're not a unicorn. I'm not a unicorn. So if you want people to know about your art, if you want people to value the art that you make, you have to promote it. You have to promote it. There's no way of getting around that. Another one, it's not real success. It's not real. It's not like going on the radio. It's not like TV. It's not like the newspapers. It's not real success. Well, I've quadrupled my business. So I have very strong metric, financial, economic evidence. I have more people at my concerts who I've never met. I have 700 club members who I teach, who pay me every month. So I have a lot of evidence that is real success. I'm providing a better life for my daughter through it. My Spotify followers have quadrupled. There's a lot of metrics on which you can define it as real success. Now, I want to make a distinction there. I'm not recommending that you look at success in your life financially or in terms of critical acclaim as a replacement for going to therapy and having good connections, having a great family. But what I am saying is you can't say it's not real success because on every metric it creates real success. Another one you might have thought or heard, friends and family will judge me. Yep, they will. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about how you can deal with that. They will, and they won't understand you. And that's not a good reason with your one precious human life to not promote your own art. People will think I'm too much. Yep, they will. Again, not a good reason to not live your best life. Some people will think you're too much. Some people will love you and some people will connect with your art, but not if you're not visible. Here's another big myth that you might have thought or heard. I certainly thought this one for a long time. If the art is good enough, people will just find it, build it and they will come type thing. Not true. I built most of my work before I blew up on social media, and the song which went viral was a song that I created 10 years before. So that's a precise piece of evidence which showed me it doesn't matter if you make amazing art. There's loads of amazing artists out there. There's loads of people making amazing art who have no following, who have no money, who have no attention, who have no audience because they're not willing to do the work to promote themselves. Maybe you've heard this one, or thought this one. The followers I have are fixed. Have you ever had that feeling? I remember when I had 2,000 followers, I remember thinking, no, this is just like the correct amount for me to have for me. That's people I've collected along the way. That's just how it is. That's like my real true number. That's the real number of people who really like what I do. That's what I deserve. That's what I have. Is not true. If you do the right things, and I'll teach you exactly how to do the right things in this course. If you do the right things, you can have 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 followers. You can have that if you do the right things. It's not about the art not being good enough. It's not about what you've done before. It's just about whether or not you're taking the correct actions. The final one, and another mega big one that I remember thinking, and I remember hearing people saying, maybe you've thought this one too. Social media it's not real people. It's not real folk. I've had now hundreds of people at concerts who I've never met before because of social media. I have people who are in my club who fly from one part of the world to another part of the world to hang out with another person who's in my club. I have people book me for weddings. I have people book me for gigs, for private concerts. I have people who I'm helping them make their dream album, all because of social media. Real humans with beating hearts, with lives, real people. That's not true. You would have had the same issue when people were on TV or on the radio. It is real people. It's only people out there. You could post one time to 4 followers and have someone book you for a show or for an exhibition or something for your business. It's real people, guys, there. So letting go of that, releasing that belief is going to be crucial in shifting your media mindset. Those are some of the negative media mindset thoughts that you could be thinking about social media. And what's really important is that you release them. You have to release them before you move into creating the positive thoughts that are going to propel you forwards in your social media journey, your media journey. I want to give you guys now some examples of positive social media mindset thoughts which you could think. And these are really the thoughts that you want to think, and here's why. If you're thinking all those negative thoughts and you're up against me or anyone else who's a professional, who's thinking amazingly positive thoughts, who's going to win? I want you to think about this for a second. Imagine I'm a very skilled guitarist and songwriter. Imagine someone came to me and said, hey, can I do 4 minutes a day of playing guitar and songwriting and be as good as you? No, of course you can't. Of course not. If you watching this happen to be like a baker and someone says, hey, can I do 10 minutes of baking once a week and be as great as you? Of course they can. So it's a skill, and it's a skill which you get better at through action, through practice. But the action and the practice comes on top of this bed of your mindset. And if your mindset is, how can I do the bare minimum? How can I get away with doing hardly any? And you're up against someone like me, or you're up against any of the other people who have learned the skill of how to enjoy it, you're going to lose. You're always going to lose. So we need to get rid of the negative side, and then we need to amplify the positive side. And I've got a few thoughts here, and these are thoughts which I think on the positive side, which help me to win on social media every day. To reach a point where I've gone from I have 2,000 followers to I have 500,000, and my whole life has completely changed. These are the thoughts which have changed my life. Once I'd done the work of removing the negative thoughts, these thoughts have changed my life as an independent artist. Number one, there has never been a better opportunity for independent artists. I want you to imagine that you go into a room in the 70s and there's a bunch of record producers in the room and business guys and PR guys, and this is the 70s, and they're all trying to get, let's say, Johnny Cash on TV. Okay, and they're phoning all the TV guys, they're phoning all the newspapers, they're phoning everyone. I want you to imagine that you could go into that room and say, hey, actually, in the future, guys, everybody has a TV in their pocket. And I've got a little camera team, an entire team of people in my hand, right? Like a camera crew, a sound man, everything. I've got a PR agency, I've got all of it, and it's in my hand. And I can actually just stream myself into everyone's television that's in their pocket any time of the day. Not just at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, but any time of the day I can do that. And those guys in that room say, oh my goodness, that's incredible. How much do you pay for this then? You say it's free. It's free. There's never been a better opportunity for independent artists. I have an iPhone 11. I grew 500,000 followers on an iPhone 11, and I changed my life. Like, I can't even explain to you how radically and how quickly my life changed with an iPhone 11, and I pay 20 quid a month for my phone. I don't have a contract, so I pay 20 quid a month for my SIM and my internet, and I've changed my entire life. There's never been a better opportunity for independent artists. When I got into this, I had to pay PR people thousands to maybe get one play on the radio, to maybe get one article in a newspaper. Now, every single day on my iPhone 11, I can go on the internet and change my life for free. How could that be bad for my mental health, guys? That's not bad for your mental health. Another thought you could be thinking, well, most business owners dedicate at least 4 hours a day to promoting and working on the business. So why would you, as an artist or a business owner or a songwriter, think that you could not do 4 hours a day to promote your business? Do you want it or not? Do you want success or not? Do you want people to show up to your gigs, come to your exhibitions, buy your stuff, connect to what you're doing, join your membership site? Why would you think that doing any less than 4 hours a day would be reasonable? Because if you just commit 4 hours a day to it, you'll definitely 1,000,000% get the result that you want. It's not a mystery. It's not a mad science. It's not some weird dark art. It's just that I did 4 hours a day for 2 years and then I got what I wanted. And if you do 4 hours a day for 2 years, you'll get what you want too. Another thought, if I do the work, I can change my life. If you do the work, if you did 4 hours a day and you did it for 2 years, I genuinely want you to imagine this, that you've actually done that you've spent 2 years doing 4 hours a day of working on your social media, posting, commenting, messaging people, DMing them, getting back to you, posting on your stories, copy and pasting, trying it, didn't work, try something else. If you do 4 hours of that for 2 years, genuinely imagine your life. Genuinely imagine how your business would change, how your life would change. If you do the work, you can change your life. If you do the work. Another thought I love thinking is my audience is looking for me. I've really learned that your audience is abundant. It's not fixed. It is not in any way fixed. Your audience, I'll go on social media every single day. Hey, I'm Adam. I sing songs. Oh my God, have you got albums out? Every single day. Every day. And I have 500,000 followers. And I've got posts that have millions and millions of views. There's no end to the people who don't know you exist. Stop thinking anyone knows who you are or cares who you are. And when you bring that humility to it, your life will change so fast that it's not even funny. You will not believe how fast your life changes when you stop thinking that people know who you are and that your audience is fixed. Another thought you could be thinking, I can be on TV every day. When I started, you would wait months and months and months for the opportunity to maybe go on television, maybe sing on the radio. You can just do that every single day. You can pull out your phone. You can pull out your phone while you're waiting on your starter at the restaurant and have a chance to change your life with a video. How crazy is that? It's incredible. Another thought, I think I can make money with my phone and my mind. I have an iPhone 11, guys. I bought it for $300 and I've made tens of thousands of pounds just with my mind and my phone and not even paying. I've never paid for any ads. That's just organic content. Another thought I'm thinking, making films is fun. If you're up against me, and you are, and you're thinking, I can't be bothered doing a post, and I'm thinking making films is fun, who wins? Start thinking about the fun of it. Making films is fun. Next thought, nobody knows who I am yet. This is so exciting to me. No one knows me. No one knows. I was in my little ego, in my little scene. I'm known in Edinburgh. I would go to, not even in Edinburgh, in certain bits of Edinburgh, in certain bits of the music scene. And then I changed my mindset to nobody knows who I am. So that's not a bad thing. That's a positive thing. That means that there's infinite people out there constantly discovering this body of work that I've done. And I believe in my body of work. I've made albums and they're phenomenal. I poured my soul into them. I worked hard on them. I know you feel like that too. I know that you've worked really hard on your stuff. So no one knows who you are. So get out there and find them. Another thought, every day I'm connected to a network of opportunities. Internet work. That's what the internet is. It's a network of opportunity. And if you just think to yourself, every single day, I have the chance to change my life by connecting myself to a network of opportunities. That's a very, very exciting thought. Another amazing thought that I love thinking, people love my weirdness. All the things that made me weird at school, that made me not fit in a normal job, people love that. Those are the things that people love about me, my fans, my audience, the people I resonate with, the people I connect to. They love my weirdness. They'll love your weirdness. That unique thing that makes you, you. We'll get into this. This is like storytelling. We'll get into this later. But people ultimately will love that. And if you show that aspect to yourself, you'll really, really find great people who really love everything you do, get behind everything you do, buy everything you make. You'll find your tribe. You'll find your audience. The number one media mindset thought that I love thinking, which is on the positive side is just I rule my destiny. There's no gatekeepers, there's no funding bodies, there's no government agencies. Any of you artists who have worked with funding or worked in the industry will have had that experience of like this feeling like there's gatekeepers. Do you know what's amazing about social media? Of course, the platforms to an extent are, and you have to play their game a bit, but it's you, it's your phone, and on the other side of your phone is your audience, and they're waiting for you. And you don't need a boss, you don't need a manager, you don't need a PR guy. You just need the right mindset, and you can go out there and find them. And once you have them, you'll have them forever. And once you have the skill of creating social media, which works for you, creating storytelling through social media, which works for you, someone could delete all your accounts, and guess what? In 6 months, you'd be back to where you were because you've got the skills, you've got the mindset, you know how to do it. So I hope that's got you a little bit excited about all the things that we're going to be covering in the course. I'm excited. Let's get into the next bit. In this section, we're going to talk about volume on social media, how much you need to post, and what kind of posting you need to do to create the results that you want to create. And I'm also going to take you through the various objections that you will no doubt have about the amount of volume that I'm going to suggest. When I first started going to the gym, going 3 times a week felt like a tremendous amount. And now I work out every single day and I don't really even think about it. And that's really where we want to get you with social media. It wants to become not that it's easier, but just that you're stronger to a point where it no longer bothers you. And I'm going to talk you through how you can do that. I'll talk you through all of your objections because if you're anything like me, they'll be pretty similar. For most people and most of the clients that I coach on social media, these are the objections that I hear most often. And so working through them, I think, is going to give you a lot of perspectives on how you can handle them when they come up, because they do. They still, for me, come up. As someone who I would consider myself at this stage pretty elite level social media, 500,000 followers, posting 5 times a day on all my different platforms, these still come up. So these objections hopefully will be helpful. Okay, so volume. The bottom line is you need to post 3 times a day for 18 months. I want to take you through how I used to think about social media before I looked at social media in this kind of way. I used to think, I've got an album out, time to do 1 post. Or I've got a new song coming out, let me do 1 post. As if I had this audience of people who were just waiting to hear from me. That's not how social media works anymore. You need to understand the change in social media. The biggest change in the last 10 years is we've gone from follower count and having a direct relationship with your audience to the algorithm and to the For You page. So what you'll notice when you're on Instagram and TikTok is 99% of the time you're on the For You page and it's suggesting stuff to you because you've trained it on the kind of things that you appreciate and the things that you find interesting. So all this conversation about the algorithm, the algorithm this, the algorithm that, it's people and it's people's preferences. That said, the art, which is getting pushed on there, is not always art, because generally it's the most attention-grabbing stuff that's getting pushed on there. And the biggest change is it doesn't really matter anymore how many followers you have, because it's not like, if I have 500,000 followers, right, which I do, in theory, 500,000 people would see every single post that I do, and they don't, because that's not how it works anymore. How it works is you need to get comfortable creating attention-grabbing pieces of content. And I'm going to get into this later, but what you then want to make sure you're doing is giving those people another place to be. So that place could be like your Patreon, that place could be your mailing list. But what I want you to think a little bit about with your social media is those are the houses that are built on sand to some extent, because you don't own it, the companies own it. That said, what you do own and what you can own is the skill set of consistently creating good storytelling through social media posting. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, as a songwriter, if I ever had someone come and say to me, can I get world class at making albums or singing or performing or any aspect of my craft by doing one time a week for like 30 minutes? Of course, the answer would be unequivocally no. Because if you really want this, and by this what I mean is enough followers to change your life, enough attention, enough consistency, enough skill to really, really transform your life and transform your business, then what you want is to become elite level at this. And if you want to become elite level at this, you can't be looking at this like, how can I do the bare minimum? You have to be looking at this as in, how can I become excellent at this? The best way I know of becoming excellent at anything is simply to do a lot of it. And when I say a lot of it, what I mean in this context is you're going to post 3 times a day for 18 months. That's what I did. That's how I built my followers. And what you're going to find is that you post for 3 times a day for 6 months and not really that much happens, not really that much changes, because you've not yet actually learned how to create interesting posts. Why 18 months? It's a character change. It is a character change. You're having to become someone who's never been to the gym to someone who's a gym guy or a gym girl, and you're just there all the time, right? If you said to me, I want to start training and lifting weights, and I want to be absolutely shredded and have massive muscles in a month, good luck. Nobody would tell you that's possible. It would be irresponsible of me as someone who has done it to tell you that it's possible to do it quickly. It's not. You're not probably going to do it that quickly. I have had some clients who've done it quickly, but they did it quickly because I told them to do the exact thing and they did it, and they just did what I told them to do. There are things that I can tell you to do, that I will tell you to do later in the course, that I do think you can get those kind of results fast. But that said, most people, if you want to find your actual voice, you want to find your authentic way with social media, it's going to take time. And I think 18 months is a good frame. It's a good amount of time. It's a good long stretch that you can really settle into it. What I want to recommend is, let's pick one platform, right? So let's say that you have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Snaptic, whatever. You've got all these different apps, right? What I'm going to recommend, pick one. So what I generally recommend to people when they're getting started, and what I did was I posted all the time on TikTok, and I found personally TikTok felt more safe in a weird way. It felt almost less like a place that my friends and family would be, less like a place that my mum might be looking at stuff, or my sister, or old friends from school. And a lot of that stuff does matter, guys. You can't underestimate the impact of your fear of the people around you seeing you try. That's the bottom line on social media, is if you just are willing to try publicly for long enough, you'll get it. And that's why I recommend TikTok at the start, because it just feels like a bit Wild West. Anything happens on there. And it's quite a safe place to try stuff. And the cool thing is, once you've found something that works, we can then take that and we can pop that onto like any other platform. And I'll tell you more about how you can do that later. Check your screen time right now. What I want you to do is look at your screen time for the day. I'll be tremendously surprised if it is under 2 hours. Most people are at least 2 hours. A lot of people are like way, way more than that. So what I want you to think about is, all we're really doing now is we're going to stop using all of that time for you to scroll and look at other people's stuff, and you're going to become a creator. You're going to invest the same time into the device, but you're going to become a creator. You're going to make that decision. You want to think about the algorithm as a kind of person that you're getting to know. And it takes time to get to know a person. And it takes the algorithm time to get to know you. The way social media used to work is it used to blow people up really, really fast. And then a lot of the platforms learned that wasn't really great for them, because people would just take their people away and put them into like a mailing list, Patreon, sell stuff directly to them. And so it seems now more than ever, the algorithm wants to protect the value of the platform by giving the viral moment to people who've been on there consistently posting and creating for a long time. That's another reason why the 18 months thing is a good kind of goal. And look, if you get it in 6, if you get it in 5, if you get it in 1, amazing, brilliant. But to frame your own expectation, I would say 18 months. And here's another big one. A lot of people who I'm coaching come to me and say, I was looking at the analytics, I was looking at this. Don't look at any of that stuff. You have no right to look at any of that if you're just beginning. You need to really get hours in and just get the minutes on the pitch and learn how to do it and be humbled. Learn how to handle criticism. Learn how to handle being cringe. Learn how to handle trying publicly. Learn how to handle getting burnout and fitting the third post of the day, and learn how to handle it all. Learn. It's going to take you time. You're not going to do this quickly. And if you do it really quickly, even if you're successful, you're not going to incorporate it and accommodate it as a new part of your personality. And if you really want to become unstoppable, that's exactly what you have to do. It has to become a part of you. You will feel afraid of the work. That's good. Face the fear. Here's what I want you to think about. If you're afraid of posting 3 times a day, that's fair enough. I get it. I was too. But the cool thing is, once you enter that realm, you're in there with me, you're in there with other people who are winning on there, right? You're in the winner's arena if you're willing to go and do that work, if you're willing to face the fear of that work. That's all it is. You're just really, if you think about, all you're afraid of is doing the work and having feelings. And if you're willing to do the work and have the feelings, you are going to get it. It's going to happen. Now, 2 things I get asked a lot about from my clients are, can I delegate this? Now, you can. I don't recommend it, and here's why. I think when you delegate something before you understand it, all you've really done is given your power away. So if you don't know how to do it, and then the person who you're employing starts charging loads more or changes or isn't there anymore, you're just back to square one and you don't know how to do it. Also, it's very hard to delegate things when you don't actually know what you're doing. I now, with 2 solid years of experience, would know exactly how to delegate my social media if I wanted to do that. But you right now don't know yet. You don't know exactly what you would tell someone to do because you've got so much to learn. I still, by the way, feel like I have so much to learn, and I'm learning all the time. But my point is, I wouldn't recommend delegating early on. I think it's just a way of avoiding the work. I think it's just a way of avoiding the feelings. The second one, can I just automate all of my posts? Again, I don't think so. There's no way of getting away from the work. I also have a kind of slight concern, and this could be not true, it could be completely disproven. This is just my own personal experience. When I have automated posts, they've never done as well, ever. It's almost like the algorithm just knows that you're not on there posting. That could be nonsense, right? But just from my own personal experience, having that energy, having that momentum of just like doing the post in the day and whatever you find cool in the day, it's art. It's not any different to any other creative endeavor. It's just a piece of art. And same as like when a song comes, the energy's there, just post it, right? Write it, do it, make it happen in that moment. That would be my recommendation. I want to offer that energy that you bring to that moment when you do the post could be the thing that takes it to the next level. So in my case, the first post I had that did super well was actually exactly that. I got burnt out. I was done in. I wasn't getting any traction. And I just posted that. I just said, guys, I'm sick of this. I'm just posting all the time. What am I even doing? I'm 30. Has anyone seen this? Is there any point? And then that one blew up a bit. And I thought, right, interesting. And that's when something clicked for me. I learned oh no, this is not an algorithm. This is not robots. This is the same as songwriting. This is humanity. And when you can bring that sense of humility and humanity to it, and honesty, and reflect the time that you're in of a given day, people respond to that. That's cool. That's a cool thing. If people just feel like you've automated 100 posts and they're just boring and there's no personality in them, no one's going to connect to that. So could you automate a bunch of posts that are really great, and could they do well? I've no doubt in my mind. I'm sure there's people doing that. But I think for you right now, my recommendation would be just get good at it and get used to doing it a lot. And you'll do better if you look at it in that way. As I mentioned before, master one platform. I do think TikTok is a good place to start. I just think it's a little bit freer and easier than some of the other platforms. And the cool thing is, generally when I've found one thing that's worked amazing on TikTok, I just pop it on Instagram and it's done great. Later on in the course, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can do that easily and effectively, because there's ways you can do it where it won't work, and there's ways where you can do it that it works great. And I'm going to share exactly how that is. Final recommendation on the volume side is do 1,000 bad posts. If you were not afraid of just doing 1,000 bad posts, you would find, let's just say 1% of that is are good, right? What's that? 10. Is it? God, guys, my maths is terrible. My point is, if you do 1,000 bad posts, right, what are the chances that you have, let's say 10 which are that go viral, you know? But so many of you guys are so afraid of doing any bad posts, so you never get to the good ones. It's the exact same as songwriting. But what I want you to imagine is that you're learning in public. You have to get comfortable learning in public. Very tricky for a lot of artists. A lot of artists really struggle with it, myself included, for such a long time. I was so afraid of it. But here's the truth. If you can't do it, you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to get the thing that you want. And if you can learn in public and have the humility to try in public and just do it, you will get what you want. You will get it. It's like you are rewarded directly in proportion to how much embarrassment you're willing to experience. And if you're just willing to feel awful and do it and have people not get, have people around you not understand why you're doing it, then you're gonna do great. You're gonna do amazing. I want to take you through some of the objections that I commonly hear from people who I'm working with, and you can see if any of these resonate. Number one, it needs to be good. Why would it be good? Why would your post be good when you've never done any? It's so stupid. So if I went to the gym and just said, yeah, well, I need to be able to do 100 kg bench press straight away. Or I went to a ballerina and said, I need to be able to do the perfect pirouette. Or I went to a TV studio and said, I need to be able to read the news better than anyone ever has immediately with no... Why would it be good? It's not going to be good. It's offensive to people like me who've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into doing it, that you think it's going to be good without it being bad first. It's like anything else. It's just the same as anything else. You watching this are already a person who's been through that process. You have been through that process of sucking really bad at something and then getting good at it. We all have. This is going to be no different. So it doesn't need to be good. It does not need to be good. It needs to be before it even is good. Number two, if I post a lot, I will lose followers. That is the craziest. It's like saying, if I invest, I will lose money, right? It's like, imagine for a second someone said, I can't put 100 into my investment account because then I'll lose that £100, right? Yes, you will lose followers in a way. But here's the thing. People who really resonate with you and love you will stay with you. And people who don't will leave you. And that's part of what this journey is about, is getting comfortable with that. I struggled with that so much for such a long time. And I got really pigeonholed as a kind of folk singer-songwriter in Edinburgh. But I always knew deep down that I was meant to be an artist that had fans from all over the world who loved what I do. And now I have that. What was the cost of that? Some of my old fans. A lot of them came with me. Quite a lot of them didn't. So will you lose followers? Yes, but they'll be like the wood chips on the carpenter's floor. Would a carpenter be afraid of there being some wood chips on the floor? I don't think so. The third objection I commonly hear, tell me if this one resonates, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You 1,000,000% do. I'm a dad, half the time single dad, to a 7-year-old girl, and I run 2 businesses, and I do gigs, and I have time to go to the gym, and I have time to see my friends. You do have time. Just look at your screen time. You have time to post 3 times a day. And it's going to get faster and faster. It's going to get easier and easier. Another objection, people will think I'm cringe. Geez, man, I struggled with this one for a long time, just thinking, oh, people will think I'm cringe because they'll see me trying. And what I want you to think is, like, who comes to your head? Who comes to your head? People will judge me. People will think I'm cringe. I had specific people in my head that I grew up with, people in my family. Guess what? They did. Just let that hang. Okay, you go out there, you promote it, you promote your business, you start getting new customers, you start building your dream life, and people are judging you. And people think you're cringe. So what? Like, what are you making that mean about yourself? And my recommendation there is, if you're so afraid of being judged or people thinking you're cringe, that you're not taking action on your dream and living your best life, then go to therapy. That's my recommendation. Another objection I hear a lot, it'll take away from my family time. What if it adds to your family? What if it adds value to your family? What if you can provide better for your family? What if you can be a good example to your kids by loving yourself enough to put yourself out there to give you and your family the opportunity to live a great life? Another objection, I won't have much free time. I hear this one a lot. I need my downtime, I need my free time. What for? Honestly, what for? What are you going to do with your free time? This free time that's so important, this rest time, this rejuvenation, reflection. You've had years of it. You've done it for years. You've had years of thinking about the plan for your thing. Ooh, I can't wait to think about this. Oh, I'm really going to take some time to think about this, think about that. Look, you're either going to do it and get the thing you want, or you're not. And if you don't, it's only going to be on you. It's only going to be on you because you were more bothered about lying around on the grass or looking at your phone or reading a book than actually getting yourself out there, getting your dream out there, getting your vision out there. This is not a balanced perspective. I do appreciate that. I'm not a balanced person. And nobody I know who's elite level at this stuff is. And so if you're watching this thinking, I just want a nice, normal, balanced life, then you probably just do want to hire someone to do it and just accept that you're always going to pay the price to pay someone to do that for you who isn't balanced, who's up for really doing that work. But if you want to know how to do this, I'm telling you, heart to heart, friend to friend, I'm telling you, you can't be looking at it as balanced. You can't. You have to look at it as, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this thing happen. Here's another one I hear all the time. If the art was good, it would happen naturally. Well, I was winning awards for my albums. I was on the television. I was on the radio. I was doing really big performances all over the world. I was in a famous band in Scotland, and I did not have global social media attention because I didn't create it. It's the craziest thing that you could think. If the art or your business was good enough, it would happen naturally. That's almost like saying, if my idea for a house was good enough, it would just happen and the house would be built. That's it. Of course it wouldn't. There's no way it would. Yes, darling. I'm in the middle of a recording, okay? So.
It also left if it has a tiny dragon.
No problem. Could you put it somewhere safe for her? I'll be done in 5, okay? Pop it away, thank you. Shut the door, please. Imagine if you thought, if the art was good enough, it would happen naturally. Imagine if you thought that about a house. You just thought, if I really want this house to be built on this street with these materials, if I just think about it, it'll happen naturally. It won't. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen unless you make it happen, unless you do the work. And I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know. By the end of this course, you're going to have every piece of information you need to know to make it happen for yourself. But you cannot be thinking that it's going to happen naturally. It's not. It's going to happen on the mountain of cringe and burnout and hard work of doing this thing. And when it does, you're going to want to cry because you're so relieved that you made it happen. I stopped going to the gym and I was just doing push-ups because that meant that I would be able to have time to post enough. So you've got to want this, right? You have to know your reason behind why you want it. You could say, oh, I just don't know what I'm doing it for. But if you've built albums or you've built, art or you've built your business, you've put a heck of a lot of passion, a heck of a lot of your life force and energy into this work. And so then to just not promote it, your work deserves it. That's your reason. That is the reason why you have to do this and why you know the reason why you're doing this. I was thinking a bit while I was writing the outline for this about art being like a soul and the presentation kind of being like a body. It's almost like until you have a social media presence out there, and it's interesting the word presence, presentation, right? Your presence. Till you have the physical presence in the world of all of this content that supports your work, it's almost like your art the soul doesn't have a body. And so the really cool thing with social media is you can give your art a body. You can give the soul of your art a body by presenting it to the world through social media. I hope this section has got you fired up about posting loads on social media. In the next section, we're going to look at truthfulness and why it matters. In this section, we're going to talk about truthfulness. And truthfulness really, when you boil it down, is just about your story, telling your story and telling it in a way which connects you with other people. That was the biggest shift for me in social media, and it was the thing that really started to open up social media for me and connect me to other people. I want to ask you a question to start this section off. What is the thing that you least want people to know about you? What comes to your mind? In my case, when I was thinking about my social media journey, a few of the things that I really didn't want to talk about were feeling like I was older, like I was an older artist, being 34, not being 20 or 21 as a lot of these kind of TikTok artists are. Having lost my dad when I was 21, being a dad, I didn't really want to share that I was a dad. I didn't want to talk about my trauma, my past, my background, my upbringing. And the interesting thing is, being older, being a dad, the trauma, my own grief, my journey, what I've overcome, the drug addiction that I overcame, all those things began to add up and create this impression on the world, which became my story and has become my story. And the interesting thing about authenticness is that when you find something truly authentic, it's really, really easy to do social media consistently, because you're no longer using this kind of avatar that you've created that you think is like the right thing to do on social media, the right way to present it. All you're actually doing is really genuinely being yourself. I want to caveat this by saying I've done 15 years of therapy, and I've done enough therapy to really feel solid in myself, really feel solid in my frame, and really have a tremendous understanding of who I owe, who I don't owe, who cares about me, who's not supposed to care about me, who I'm close to, who's an acquaintance, who's someone I don't know and a stranger. I've really worked very hard on this through therapy. And what I will say is that if you're struggling with those kinds of things, I really would recommend getting your nervous system regulated through the practice of therapy. If you have any kind of serious trauma, I would recommend that you go and see someone who specializes in something like EMDR or one of the other more profound kinds of therapy that help people target specific traumas. I experienced that myself, so I'm saying to you, if you've experienced something significant that caused a trauma in your life, and I'm not talking about trauma like, oh, my ex left me or something like that. I'm talking about serious bad trauma. If you've experienced bad trauma, you're going to come up against a lot on social media, especially if you're being truthful. So I would really recommend that you tell your story from the lens of, or from the foundation of, really standing in good stead. And I believe that the good stead that you stand in really depends on the work that you do in therapy. That said, assuming those things are in place for you, here are some things that you can use to help you tell your story. Advertising copy is a term that we use literally just to mean the text that you put onto your video. In your copy, what you want to think about are three things. You want to think about a hook, your story, and your offer. And every post that you do, this is an outline that you can use. And you'll notice that I do this on pretty much all of my videos. Let me give you an example. A hook is something like, hey, could you stop scrolling? Hey, did you know? Hey, is it okay to stop you for a sec? Something that stops someone from scrolling is a hook. You could call it a headline. Newspaper headlines are masters of this. It stops you in your track, and then you get into the story. The story is, in my case, in my social media posts, I've said things like, hey, I'm a single dad to a wee ginger girl. We live near a castle. I've got a great life walking around Edinburgh and making my music. Now, I could also say I'm one of 8 kids, right? See if I just took those things as my story, right? I'm one of 8 kids. I'm a dad to a wee ginger girl. I make loads of music and we live near a castle, right? Now, what I'm doing there is I'm sort of taking much broader topics and then doing my best to really constrain them into fine little lines that can really give someone a tremendous and quick impression of the individual that I am. So obviously, parenthood and my past and being older, even just through saying that I'm a parent, ended up kind of being the things that connected me to people. So that would be my story. So you could have your hook, something like, hey, stop scrolling, here I am, story. These are a few things that I like. And these are a few facts about me that you could maybe relate to. And then I have an offer, right? Hook, story, offer. So my offer is my art, is my albums. So my copy, my advertising copy on my videos often reads as follows. Hey, if you've stopped scrolling, give this a minute and tell me if you like it. My name's Adam. I'm a dad to a wee girl. and she's like a blender without a lid. She's ginger. We live near a castle, and I'm one of 8 kids. Could you drop me a comment to say hi? So I'm asking for some engagement. And here's my offer. I've got 6 albums you can binge immediately, right? Hook, story, offer. If you go and study any of my posts, you'll see that 99% of the time, what I'm doing is I'm moving through hook, story, offer. What's the last thing that you overcame? If you're struggling to think about your story, it could be really simple. Have you lost fat? Did you get over a really bad breakup? Did you get more confident going out and speaking to people? Did you learn how to swim? Did you learn how to ride a bike? Anything that you've overcome is a part of your story, and it's a part of what's going to connect you to other people. A lot of storytelling on a personal level in the context of branding is just sharing things you've overcome. And it's a generous thing to do as well. It's a good example. I think you want to feel a kind of nervous confidence when you're sharing things. That for me has faded a bit because I've done so much of it that I rarely feel any nerves anymore with my story. But what I mean by nervous confidence is if you can feel like slightly nervous about what you're saying because it feels really honest, but confident because you know it feels true. It's a little bit like songwriting in that way. Those are usually the things that connect you to other people. So if I feel like, oh, I'm really putting myself out there, oh, that feels a bit tough. Generally, those are the ones which do better. I've taken it too far and I've been too honest and it's been too much. But that's part of how you find your voice. It is almost like sculpture. You add all the stuff on and you take bits away until you kind of hone it, craft it, and find what works for you, what feels authentic for you. If something works, do it a lot. What do I mean by do it a lot? I mean, if you find one bit of copy that's like a hook, story, offer that works for you, you could use that for 6 months, 9 months, a year. You could rinse it. You could use it 3 times a day. And you create results because every single time the algorithm is hitting new people. And when you get the correct combination of hook, story, offer, and a good visual, which I'll talk about in a second, you'll really notice it. It'll have an energy, it'll have a feeling to the post, and you'll know that that one's kind of going to do pretty well. You'll have almost a feeling before you post it. Study the masters. There's people on TikTok and Instagram who are in your field, in your niche, whatever that is. So like in my field as a songwriter, there's people out there who are absolutely nailing being a songwriter and generating attention on the internet. If you own a Stetson hat company for cowboys, there'll be someone out there who's nailing it. And what you'll notice about all of the masters is they're just brilliant storytellers. And they're all using a combination of hook, story, offer. The offer is the art that they have. The hook's always different. The stories should be unique and different every time, but most people are using hook, story, offer. I want to give you a couple examples of bad copy versus good copy. When I say copy, I mean advertising copy, as in the text that you would put on your video. What I see a lot is people will come on and start saying, usually songwriters or musicians will say something like, they'll get the camera and they'll say, I am so excited because my new single is coming out in 4 days and I can't, boom, I'm gone. I don't care. It's boring. Number one, who are you? I don't know who you are. You guys stop going on social media and expecting anyone knows who you are. Nobody knows who you are. You have to go on there knowing that nobody knows who you are and appealing to their interest. So bad copy. I'm so excited for my show at the Voodoo Rooms. Can't wait for you to come to my gig. Good copy. Hey, I'm a songwriter from Edinburgh. I've got 500,000 followers. I've had songs in Outlander. How would you like to sit with your mates and drink a cold beer and watch my gig at the iconic Voodoo Rooms in Edinburgh? It's a beautiful venue. Come on down. You're going to have a great time. Which is more appealing, right? So when you're thinking about copy and when you're thinking about storytelling, you want to appeal to other people's self-interest, not in a negative, manipulative way, just because everyone's thinking about themselves. Everyone's thinking in life, what's in it for me? You're not watching this course because you want to do me a favor. You're watching this course because you want to get something out of it. You don't look at my work and think, wow, he's amazing. You look at it and think, wow, I want to know how to do that. I want to know how to do that for me and for my business. So other people are no different. Everybody is self-interested. And once you know that, it's easier to write copy because you understand that you're just becoming a better communicator. So when I started to say, I have 6 bingeable albums rather than, which is more appealing as an offer, right? Give my music a listen. I worked hard on it. Give my music a listen. Or, hey, I've got 6 albums you can binge right now for free, completely for free, right? Which is a better offer? So copy is about hook. So something to break attention. And it literally can be as simple as, please stop scrolling, I've got a message for you. Or it could be like, I can't believe this crazy fact. Or, hey, have you ever thought? Something that interrupts the pattern. And then you get a story in there. And your story is a way for you to build trust. I'm building trust when I tell my story by saying, like, I say a lot. If I have the copy where I say, I'm a single dad, I live near a castle, my daughter's like a blender without a lid. Those are things that, I'm one of 8 kids, right? Those are things that says a lot about me without saying very much at all. And it's not to go on about myself, it's to just build a sense of trust, just to build a sense of humanity. What I also would definitely 1,000,000% recommend is use weird words, because the difference between a piece of copy which would say, like, I am a dad to a wee girl, and that says, I'm a dad to a little girl, might be tremendous. Oh, he said we, that's so cute. I'm a dad to a little human ginger daughter. Or I'm a dad. Which is more interesting? Which gives you access to people more quickly? Often what we're trying to do is get that kind of family feeling with people as quick as we can. And the way that we can do that is by being honest and finding those weird little words that are uncomplicated. Like, how would you describe your life to your best mate? Like, where you live. Like, if I said where I live, I could be like, it's a pristine and lovely area. No one cares, doesn't matter. Whereas if I said, it feels like living in a treehouse in my flat, right? It's going to emotionally connect. Don't try and be clever. Don't try and say things clever. It doesn't connect. It's not what's going to get you what you want. In the next section, we are going to look at visuals and vision and how you can create a frame which gets you attention. So in this section, we're going to be talking about the visual side of posting and how creating a compelling visual is going to assist you in garnering the attention that you wish to garner for your business, for your art. If you really think about what a social media post is, there's a few different aspects. One is the sound of it. In my case, as a songwriter, the sound is immensely important. One aspect is the visual side, and this is part of the storytelling side. And the other aspect is the text, which is obviously also the storytelling side. This said, I want to give you a few techniques that you can use that are incredibly practical that will make your visuals look much better. And to give you a little bit of background, I actually studied photography. I studied film photography for 12 months when I was 19 years old. And I think a lot of the principles which I learned through studying film photography have served me well in my social media journey, in the sense they've given me an advantage because of the basic principles that I learned. And I want to share some of those principles with you so that you can improve the image quality aspect of your social media posts. First thing I want to say is, I would recommend watching a lot of films because you're going to get an immense amount of ideas, an immense amount of energy from watching films and studying photographers. So I would most definitely recommend studying some of the best photographers, studying some of the best filmmakers, and really just putting yourself into that realm and experiencing what those films look like, what those photographs look like. Don't just look at photos without being perspicacious. Look at them, perceive what it is about them which is compelling, and steal ideas. Steal ideas from photos, steal ideas from movies. Even if you're just watching TV, watch how they frame things, watch how the symmetry in the shot is, watch how the depth in the shot is, watch how the colours in the shot are. And you can borrow a lot, as I have, from cinema. If you go and look at my social media posts, a lot of them are actually reasonably cinematic, and the reason for that is I'm an avid student of cinematography, and I love cinematography, and I'm passionate about it. And here's a few tips without going too deep in that you can just immediately apply to your social media posts that are going to make them stand out and make them look better. And the first one is to use eye level, to have the lens of your camera, as this is right now. My lens is right there on this iPhone. And notice that that is in line with my eye. Rather than me being down here or being up there and looking down, this sounds like an obvious one, but the amount of posts that I see where the camera is sort of this way or looking up or to the side, and that's just one little thing that you can do that's immediately going to make all of your posts look more professional, is simply ensuring that your eye is at the same level as your lens. Now, obviously rules are there to be broken, but you want to know that you're consciously breaking rules. So if you are breaking eye line, you want that to be for a particular purpose. Like in a lot of the hip hop videos in the 90s, they would angle the camera up to create this kind of towering, energetic sense of rappers moving in towards the camera and stuff. And it was an intentional decision. So if you are going to break the eye level rule, make it an intentional decision. But generally speaking, you want your lens to be at eye level. Another thing that you can do with minimal effort that's going to make all of your photography in your social media posts way more interesting is to use lead-in lines. Again, if you go and study the posts that I've done on Instagram, what you'll notice is that quite often I might have myself standing in the middle of a road and then the lines of the road behind me, or maybe there's buildings behind you, or maybe there's trees behind you if you live in nature. But a lot of the time, looking at the phone, once you've got your tripod and you've got your phone set up, looking at the image on the phone, in this example, it's quite nicely framed. I'm in the middle. There's this window here that's adding some interest. There's that wall there and that blanket there that's adding some depth. This is not a shot that I've really consciously thought about framing. That said, it still looks relatively okay. And there's things that you can do with your framing, just that little bit of consideration, that's really going to make a massive difference to that initial impression that someone has when they look at your shot. So what you have to think is people are scrolling, they've seen so much curated, noisy, bright, colourful, loud, attention-grabbing stuff, and they're going to land on your video. And if it has an interesting visual, and I'm going to give you some more tips on how to create interesting visuals, but if it has an interesting visual, even if your business is a sonic business, as mine's is, I'm a songwriter, it's all about the music, but the fact that I have striking visuals, the fact that I've thought a bit about the framing, a bit about leading lines, the fact that I'm at eye level, all helps to pull people in to the shot, and you have a few seconds to get their attention, so it helps. The next tip I want to give you on the visual side is to pay attention to light. Light matters. Now, the ideal kind of lighting to have in any of your videos is similar to the lighting that I have now. This is quite a mild example, but what I have here is Rembrandt lighting. Now, if you study some pictures of what Rembrandt lighting is, effectively what is a key light. Now if I have one light here, over here, and look, if I cover that, all that interest on my face is gone. Now Rembrandt lighting is where you would have this side kind of lit and a little bit of light on that eye there, and ideally in perfect Rembrandt lighting you would have a little bit of shadow there, as you kind of do, you can sort of see that. So I recommend practicing getting Rembrandt lighting with one key light. When I say key light, let's just say that's your main light, but you don't need it to actually be a physical LED light panel, say like this one is. It could just be that you are conscious of the light in your shots. But if you start to pay attention to light, what you're going to notice is it really helps you to separate things out and make things stand out. So this key light here, as I've said, if I cover that, I can't totally cover it, but you can get a sense of how much that is adding to the shot without it, with it. It's adding a lot of, it's putting attention on my face, really, this light. Then what I've got, by accident in this case, but something, well, it's not by accident because I've chosen to have it there in the room, but I've got a backlight. So that window light you'll see there is just kind of lighting this side of my head. Now, if you have two lights, it's a great way of creating contrast. So you would have behind you one light just outlining the back of you, and your key light doing the Rembrandt light. Quite often, if you have the light kind of here coming down onto your face, so like almost 45 degrees, and just mostly getting one side of the face and a little bit of light there. But what's cool is if you don't even want to use lights, you could just go out and you could just move the camera around and watch where the sun is and watch how the different angles change the way that your face looks, change the way that the shot looks, change how much attention is on you or not on you. So you can do this just with natural light, just with window light. And maybe I'll add in a bonus video with some extra lighting techniques just to show you exactly what I mean. Thinking about the text on your video, what I recommend is you want to have a white background and black text rather than a black background and white text. Now, what I mean by this is that when you type in your text onto the video, as you do on Instagram or TikTok, and you're going to put a background on it, because probably, unlike this video where that's a nice white space, often when you shoot content, you might have like a tree there, you might have a building there. So what's useful is to use the white background on the text to make your text stand out. I see a lot of people who use black background and white text. It's harder to read, and people are reading things on their phones. Phones are small. So my recommendation would be that you use a white back and a black text when you're choosing your background on your social media platform of choice. What I want you to think about, another little tip actually, is just when you're shooting your content, this is landscape, but when you're shooting in portrait, as you often will be because people are using their phones in that way to receive your posts, leave space above you for the text. Like, think about where the text is going to go. Take the shot and leave space for it, and think about it as a part of the shot rather than something that you put on it after. When you're shooting, you can be thinking about. Think about a nice big bit of sky, or maybe a nice big bit of brick wall. That's going to be a great place to put your text. It should all be part of the one image. It should all look like one image, and it can be really pleasing when you shoot with that in mind, when you think about that ahead of time. What I want you to think about next is you being the sum of every impression you make. Now, every single post that you do is going to send out a little message about who you are, what you like, what you enjoy, what you value, what you dislike, how you see yourself, how you see the world. Every single post is going to give a bit of that off. And the way that I recommend that you brand, the way that I recommend that you make an impression upon the world is quite simply just do a lot. Because I feel like when you do a lot, it starts to emerge, it starts to take care of itself. And it's not something that you really have to think about. It's more just that if you shoot enough stuff, you're going to get enough of your different bits of your personality across. For example, when I'm doing my boxing training, I quite often film a bit and put it on my stories or put it on my social media. When I'm doing my weightlifting, sometimes I put that up. Sometimes I put up little pictures of what me and my daughter are having for dinner. Sometimes I'll put up a little picture of me and my friends. Sometimes I'll be wearing pajamas. Sometimes I'll be wearing a suit. But in some ways, you can really just trust that each and everything that you post is over time creating an impression that people are going to have. That's what your brand is. Your brand is the sum of thousands of impressions that you make over time. This is why I think clothing is important. And that doesn't mean that you need to wear necessarily a suit. It doesn't mean that you need to wear a dress. It doesn't mean that you need to wear anything other than what you, I guess, normally wear. But what I do want to recommend is that you start to feel like you're always on set. I only have clothes and I only dress in a way where I know that if I wanted to go on camera in any moment, that I would be representing myself in some way, shape or form. So you might have seen in my videos, often I wear Icelandic knit jumpers. My friend Sigga makes them for me, and they always get a comment, they always get attention because they're beautiful and because they tell a little bit of a story. They tell a story that I'm a friendly guy, I'm a dad, I'm a folk singer. They're in that aesthetic, and so it's a really easy way for me to kind of make that impression. Similarly, I've chosen consciously to do most of my branding on a phone, not on really fancy cameras all the time. I want to keep myself as much as possible people feeling like I'm just in the room with them, people feeling like I'm just there because I am. And also, that sense of authenticity for me has been really powerful, to just shoot what's there. But also, if you came to my house, you would see I have hardly any stuff. And I do that because I want to have my flat feel like a film set. I want to have my wardrobe feel like outfit for my filmmaking. I'm very, very, very conscious about everything that I have in my life, showing a little bit of my character, showing a little bit of my values. So I would encourage you and I would offer you to think a lot about the clothes you have, if they represent you, if they represent the kind of sound, how you're putting yourself across, maybe how you have your hair, how you have your beard if you're a guy. Just that level of consciousness, that level of awareness about why you're dressing like you're dressing. Because I think if your reason is just, I don't care, I don't think that's a great reason. I think you need to have some kind of intention behind why you're wearing what you're wearing. A few other questions that I want to give you that can help you uncover your version of authentic vision when it comes to branding on the visual side of what you're doing on the social media posts. It's just to think about, where do you feel happy? What do you love? So if a friend came and visited you, where would you want to take them where you live? What would you want to show them? So for me, living in Edinburgh, I would want to show them the beautiful architecture. I would want to show them the graveyards where I walk around. I would want to show them my favorite clothes shops. I would want to show them my favorite cafes. I really just want to give them that kind of experience of how it feels to be in my life and enjoy my life. So what is it about your life that you love, that you enjoy? What is it about your area that you love, that you enjoy? What is it about your community that you love, that you enjoy? And what I want to offer you is that the more that you can just show that in your social media posts, the more likely it is that you're going to give a valid impression of the kind of person that you are. And the more likely it is that you're going to attract other people who resonate with that kind of vibration. So in my case, going out into Edinburgh and shooting a lot in Edinburgh and really using Edinburgh as my film set has definitely given me something in terms of the branding that I use. And it's attracted a particular kind of attention because it's beautiful. So anyone who really appreciates art and architecture is going to naturally gravitate towards posts that look beautiful and the buildings are beautiful and there's leading lines and it's thought about. So what is it about the place where you live or the people that you're around that really lights you on fire? What is it that you love? What is it that makes you feel happy? And therein lies the clues around your version of Brandon. I think when people hear the word Brandon, it has an almost negative association, right? Rather than just being a way of you putting across really what you value, what you like, what is meaningful to you. And I think if you start to look at your own life in this kind of way, you're going to find that you're in a very, very rich soil in terms of getting your truthfulness and your vision across visually. I'll see you in the next video. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of courage and why courage is the next level, the next part of the foundation, the next thing which you need to have completely solid in order to create the life of your dreams via social media. Now, we're looking at courage in this section because we've already got a few of the other things in place, and we're now able to move into the sort of spiritual side and the emotional and the social side of why growing a large social media following is tricky and what you can do about the trickiness to navigate your way through it for long enough and skillfully enough that you can create the results that you want to create in your art, in your business, in your craft. So the biggest shift that you're going to make with your social media, if you're anything like me or anyone else that I know, is just shifting from the mindset of social media is a place for my friends and family, a place for catching up, to it's a place for me to find my audience, find my fans, build connections, build my business. It's a tremendous shift. It's a very, very difficult shift because we've all been conditioned by the social media companies and by our friends and families to think that social media is a place to message your cousins who live in another country or catch up with your auntie's pictures of her cats or see how your brother's new baby's doing or whatever. And it is for all those things. But if you're wanting to have your dream life through social media, you're going to have to learn how to get comfortable having all of those people see you trying for long enough. Are you comfortable having people who you care about seeing you try? Because let me tell you, it is weird. It is going to look weird until it works. I hope I'm not overemphasizing this point. I just know that for me, this was really the point why it took me 10 years of being a professional musician to finally make this decision, which is so crazy to me. Social media has been around the whole time I've been a songwriter for the last 15 years. And it's only in the last 3 years that I really started to get serious about it. And I think, guys, the number one reason was just that I was afraid what my family would think, afraid what my friends would think, afraid what people from my hometown would think. And it is weird until it works. And the weird one for me was having friends and family when you're in that first phase of building and you're really just posting all the time. You're posting 3 times a day. And you know that they're seeing you say the same thing over and over again. And you know that they know that the posts are not for them. And they can see you trying. They can see what you're trying to do because you're not successful at that point yet. You've not yet reached that moment of competence and confidence. You're just in this weird middle section where you're doing your best to be consistent above all else. And it's a very, very hard phase. And what I want to offer you as a way of breaking through this phase is 2 questions. The first is, if not now, when? This is what I really strongly realized when I decided that I was going to grow my social media was, if not now, when? When is it that I think that the perfect conditions are going to be there, that I'm going to feel ready, it's going to be a good time? If not now, when? And the answer is never. It has to be now. You have to make a decision right now. What I recommend is that if you are going to make a decision, send me a message through my website, a DM, anything, and just say, ready. Just send me that message. There's power in making a proclamation in that kind of way. I get how hard it is. Send me a message saying ready. The second question, if not you, who? This is the brutal reality. No one is ever going to care as much about your business as you. No one's ever going to care as much about your art as you. Not even people who you really, really think well. Not even your parents. Not even if you have a manager or a business partner. You have to unequivocally and emphatically decide it's on you. Nobody is coming. Let that sink in, guys. Nobody is going to come and do this for you. And if you, as I mentioned before, do later want to delegate this to someone else, amazing, and more power to you. But you're not ready for that right now. And so if you do want all of the amazing, beautiful things that come with having a big social media following and knowing how to create attention and influence, you have to accept that no one's coming and get to work. It's not about the art. It's not about your business. Because, and I know you know this is true, people with 1/10 of your talent have 1 million followers. Think about that. People with 1/10 of your talent have all the things that you want in your life because they're not smart enough to second guess themselves. People with 1/10 of your intelligence have all the things that you want. They're not smart enough to second guess themselves. They're just doing the work. So you're either going to do the work and know what it feels like to do the work and to get the thing that you want to get, or you're not. And how long is it going to be? What, another 3 months that you don't do it? Another 6 months? Another year? And look, here's the cool thing. If you do a year or 2 years and you get it and then you decide that you don't want it, great. At least you know. But what I want to offer you is if I said to you right now, right, here you go, you can just have 500,000 followers and all the extra business and all the opportunity that comes with it, and with no effort at all, would you say yes? And if the answer is you would take it, then I believe you owe it to yourself to really, really have a good go at generating the courage required to do the posts, to put yourself out there, to try publicly and to fail publicly and to make mistakes publicly, as I have, in order to get all the things that you want to get in your life. When you really think about what feelings are, it's a vibration in your body. You're being almost injected with this feeling that just floats around in your body for a short or a long time. And when you frame it in that way, really, if you had the power to just feel anything, if you were just willing to feel anything, getting whatever you want in life is actually tremendously easy. Right now, sitting recording this video for you, I don't feel like doing this. I can feel the resistance. I can feel the resistance in my chest. I can feel the resistance in my stomach. Whenever I sit down to do any kind of work, I feel like that. And that's not even the nervousness. That's not even the embarrassment. That's just the kind of low-level resistance to the work. But one thing I've really developed for myself, and one thing I would love for you to have too, is the sense that I'm really, really in an amazing relationship with my future self, with my past self, with myself now. So when this is done today, and I get to then share this amazing insight with the world, I'm going to go and reward myself and do something nice. So a lot of courage is about being nice to yourself, because discipline is harsh, but you get what you want and then you reward yourself. So here's a few questions which can help you develop your courage so that you can create the life of your dreams with social media. Sound good? Here we go. First question, are you willing to experience not getting it? Just go a year into the future, 2 years into the future, and imagine that that time's passed and you just haven't done it. It's just another couple of years and you've not got all those things you wanted, whether that was more clients, more membership site members, more people at your shows or people in your shop or people coming to your exhibition or whatever. Just imagine another couple of years and you've not had that exciting moment yet and you're just still where you are now. Really give yourself permission to go into the kind of pain of that moment and feel it. Are you willing to experience not getting it? The answer could be yes. If you are willing, great, that's fine. If you're not, again, make that decision and DM me saying, ready. Let me know. Second question, what if you don't need it to feel good? There's a lot of power in deciding that you're going to get a result and that you're not concerned about how you feel in the process. If you can really allow yourself to just go through the process of things and get your dopamine, get your satisfaction from doing the job well, rather than feeling good in the moment, life gets very exciting very fast. What if you didn't need it to feel good? What if you stopped judging the experience and you just allowed the experience to be hard? There were moments for me when I was posting initially for 3 times a day. I hardly think about it now. But when I was first doing it, that I felt so burnt out. I was just lying on the floor, like last post, just so burnt out, struggling to make it happen. As I mentioned before, there were times when I didn't go to the gym because I was making time for it. So I was just doing push-ups, doing my little post and just like struggling. But I didn't need it to feel good. And actually, it's a different kind of good. It's almost like the burn of a really good workout. And in my opinion, there's no better feeling than just, I've put it all on the table. I really tried. I really did it. Third question, who comes to your mind if you feel like I'm afraid of being judged, I'm afraid of someone criticizing me? Who comes to your mind? Just without really overthinking it, there will be someone. In my case, it was people in my family. It was people that I grew up with that came to my mind, and it was quite specific people in my community. Another question I want to ask you, who comes to your mind? And then do you respect them / do you want to have the life that they have? And if you don't want to have the life that they have, I would recommend releasing that person, letting them go and getting on with the work. Question 4, is it nerves or inexperience? Are you nervous? Are you scared about posting a lot? Or have you just not done a lot of posting? Similarly, when I'm doing concerts, if I'm just really well rehearsed, I'm not very nervous about it. If I'm not well rehearsed, I am nervous about it. And I'm at the stage now where I have success every day on social media, in the sense that every day I'm making some money, I'm meeting some people, I'm getting new followers, I have posts that go semi-viral every day, and I'm bored a lot of the time. So usually the best results will come at the time where you're actually bored. So what you want to get to is you want to get to a stage where you're doing it so often and so much and so consistently that you're no longer excited, you're actually bored of doing it. The 5th question, have you done 2,000 posts yet? Because if you've done 4, if you look at your Instagram count, or I don't know if you can look on TikTok, but if you look and you just see, I've only done 100, then get to work. Just get your head down and don't look up until you hit 2,000. And I guarantee you, if you just get your head down and do the 2,000, what are the odds, guys? What are the odds that one of them doesn't blow up? It's pretty much guaranteed if you're just willing to do the work. Number 6, does your art not deserve it? For me, my art does, and that's where a lot of my confidence comes from, is I worked so hard on my art. I worked so hard on creating world-class, high-quality art. And if you've worked really hard on your business, if you've worked really hard on your art, does your art not deserve it? Are you willing to experience your art not getting the attention it deserves? I'm certainly not. I hope you're not too. The 7th question, do you want to be liked or respected? Because here's the thing, when you go on this social media journey, you are going to upset some people just sheerly by the volume of your presence. And you're going to learn that some people just don't like you, not for any malicious kind of important reason. They maybe just don't vibe with you that much and they'll leave. And that will hurt in the moment because you're a human. I had 1,000 people unfollow me one day because I said something. So I know how hard that feels. It's a weird feeling and it's not nice. But what's pretty cool is I now get asked to go and give talks for artist societies. I get asked to give talks as an expert on social media, and I'm respected in the game of social media. So what I want to offer you is, do you want to be liked by your small community in and around where you are and where you work and where you live, or do you want to be respected at large? Do you want your art to be respected at large? 8th question, do you want to be excused or respected? So I can tell you right now, no, it's okay, you don't have to do that. It's not for everyone. But chances are, if you've got this far in the course, you're watching this because there's a fire in you about your art and being publicly visible and getting yourself out there. So do you want to be excused? Because you always can be. I've got crippling ADHD. I came from a traumatic background. I grew up with no money. Do you want to be excused? Because you can get pity and you can be excused, or do you want to be respected? And I'll tell you from my own personal experience, respect in the face of all of those challenges for me feels amazing. It's a brilliant feeling. The 9th question, have others overcome this fear? This rejection that you're so afraid of experiencing, I'll tell you, I was so worried about experiencing rejection. And I did a lot on social media when I started to post more. And let me tell you, it didn't feel good. It felt a little bit like getting beaten up. And I remember the feeling when I was a kid and I'd get in a fight and I'd lost the fight, basically. It's not dissimilar. It's not a dissimilar feeling. You will have the emotion in your body of, I've lost, I've been rejected, I've lost something. People didn't like me, they didn't like my post, they didn't like what I said, they unfollowed me. You will experience that. But what I want to offer you is that a bad day for the ego is a good day for the soul. And for me, it feels amazing to reach a point where it's possible for me to be rejected multiple times in a day, and I feel all right. My rejection muscle has strengthened an immense amount. The 10th question, and this is one that I want to leave you with, is what's the best case scenario? Because look, I've coached you now through a lot of the negative sides of it and the things that you're going to experience, the inevitable hardships of public attention and living a public life and all the things that are challenging about that. But think about the best case scenario. Best case scenario, and a guaranteed scenario if you just do the work, is that in 2 years' time, you're going to have all the things that you want through social media. So when you have that moment where you think, I don't know what I'm doing this for, think about the best case scenario. And it's very, very possible for you. And know that that's where you're headed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay guys, in this section I'm really excited to speak with you about money and social media and how you can make money through your social media. Now, really when you think about making money on social media, the number one skill you need to have to create money on social media is the skill of making offers. To make a compelling offer, you need to have a good understanding of value and what value is. You need to be valuable. Now, in my case, when I started my journey with making money on social media, and what I'm going to recommend to you is that you start things in a similar way, is when you have a small amount of social media followers, my recommendation would be to make offers for larger services. So in my case, as a songwriter, as an engineer, I went from being someone who really just was an artist and did gigs and promoted my own music to being someone who offered services. Now, some of the examples of services that I've offered people are, I will record your music. I will write a personalized song for you. I will coach you on your social media, as I'm doing in this video. I will coach you one-on-one on your songwriting. Now, I maintained, obviously, all of my concerts. I maintained making my own records, and I always will, because I love it. But what I want to offer you is that if you are an artist in that kind of way, and you're interested in making more money, switching your mindset to a mindset of offering services is a brilliant way of making money. And the cool thing about it is that you don't even need a ton of social media followers to make a lot of money. So phase 1 and phase 2, I'm going to make the distinction. Phase 1 as big money from a small amount of people, and phase 2 as small amounts of money from a large group of people. Now, obviously, when you're collecting small amounts of money from a lot of people, having a large following is tremendously helpful. The cool thing, however, is even if you have a small following, if you can think about your value and the services that you offer in a smart way, in a clever way, you don't necessarily need to have a lot of followers to make good money. So, once you've decided what your services are, and what I recommend is that you simply ask yourself, what's something that I've overcome? So in my case, I overcame not knowing how to record. I overcame growing my social media. I've overcome promoting my own music. I've overcome stage fright. There's a lot of things that I've overcome. And if you're looking to find what your value is, what you want to do is think about something that you've overcome and then offer that as a service. So, for example, there's a lot of songwriters who have the seeds of some songs and they don't know how to get those songs finished, record them, and then promote them. Well, I know how to do all those things. So a lot of the work I do as a coach and through services is simply about helping people go from seed to finished song and promoting it through the skill sets that I've developed across my 15 years. So if you want to think about ways that you can make more money on social media, what I recommend is, what is a thing that people say to you that you're great at that you don't even think about? So for me, being able to play a lot of different instruments and record songs and make songs sound really big and full without a crew or loads of other people is a real strength, and it's something that I do very easily. And so when I turned that into a service, I was able to make more money than just doing my gigs and selling my own records. Now, once you've found what service it is that you want to offer, what I recommend is that you study advertising copy and that you learn how to make a compelling offer. Now, the basis of making a compelling offer is very simple, and it's this. Don't sell the airplane journey, sell the destination. What do I mean by that? So if I said to you, come on this plane and fly for 9 hours, it wouldn't be interesting. But if I said to you, relax by the beach in Cuba and chill out and finally have some peace and some quality time with the family, I'm selling you on the destination of Cuba rather than the airplane journey. This said, 9 times out of 10 when I see people who run online businesses, especially in the recording space, what they do is they go online and they say, I can record for you, come and do some recording. The bottom line is nobody wants recording. It's boring. What people really want is what they're going to get from a recording. So it might be that if you're confused and you've never done a recording, you're going to get clarity. It might be that you're going to get the attention of radio promoters. It might be that you're going to have high quality tracks to send to concert promoters and finally get all those gigs that you want to get. But I guarantee you, if you start to think about your offers in this way, you stop selling the airplane journey and you start to sell the destination, you're going to have more success selling your services on social media. Here are some examples of ways that you can start an offer. So usually I'd frame an offer in this way. Are you this person? Are you a songwriter? Would you like to get the attention of concert promoters? Do you struggle with knowing where to start with all of your seeds of ideas? Sound interesting? Sound good? Send me a message, right? That's one example of an offer. Let's go through it for songwriting commissions. Are you someone who's never played a musical instrument? Would you like to create a bespoke song with the help of a professional songwriter? Do you struggle with expressing your emotions? Would you like to Share how you feel with the person that you love. Sound interesting? Send me a message. That's a way of making a more interesting offer. Now, in terms of the different ways that you can make money from social media, services is the first one that I would recommend to everyone. And the reason is, as I mentioned, you don't need to have a ton of social media followers to make good money selling services. I was making thousands selling services when I only had 2,000 followers. And I make thousands now with 500,000 followers as well, selling services. But also now that I have a lot of followers, there's other options in terms of revenue. So for example, I have a Patreon, I have a membership site, and I put exclusive content in there, and there's 700 people in there, and it only costs $1.50 a month to join. Now, when I had 2,000 followers, it wouldn't really have made sense for me to create a Patreon, create a membership site, and try and get, let's say, 10% of those guys into my club, right? Because the effort for the reward was not worth it. That said, now that I have 500,000 and 300,000 on Instagram alone, it's very, very easy for me to do a live stream, tell people about my club, my membership site, and have them join because it's a very low barrier of entry. The other cool thing is once you start to have a lot more traction on social media, you'll start to build passive income on there, recurring income from the likes of YouTube AdSense. So once you have a lot of views, you start to attract different kinds of opportunities. That said, what I would recommend initially is study offers. Use carousel posts. They work really well. What do I mean by carousel posts? I mean, use like 3 photos, say, on Instagram and sell a service. And I would make that service as high as you possibly can. So, for example, my commissions were $1,000 and my coaching is like $4,000 a year or whatever. So I would recommend that you sell a high ticket service somewhere that you have a lot of expertise when you have a small amount of followers, because you only need to get 1 or 2 for it to make a significant difference to your life and to your business. That said, once you start getting larger numbers, definitely things like crowdfunders can work where people can donate. Donating on live streams can work fantastic. That works great. Recurring income through a membership site, once you have a lot of members, followers, is a great means as well. And so those are a few ways that you could really start to think about making money through social media. So just to recap that, number 1, start selling services now. Think about a thing that you've overcome that would be valuable to someone, and then charge as much money as possible for it so that you're well rewarded for your time and so that you attract serious clients. Promote it through a mix of video content, carousels, and pinned comments are really great. So what works really cool is if you have a post that's gone viral, you could have like a short form piece of content that's maybe 15 seconds long that's gone viral. What works great is on Instagram, for example, you can pin a comment saying something like, send me a message if you want to join my club, or send me a message if you want to book me for a gig, or comment this to get a free copy of this, etc. Once you're garnering the attention of like thousands of people, it's quite easy to sell something that's maybe like £1, £2, £3 with a pinned comment or with a little bit of copy on a video. I'm going to get into another little tip next, which is on ManyChat automation and how you can use that to generate more leads and more money on your social media. So in this video, I just want to quickly explain what Snaptic and ManyChat are, because in and of themselves, they're not particularly powerful, they're not particularly meaningful, but when combined with the skill sets, the determination, the courage, all the other aspects, they're very, very powerful tools for making your life much easier. I discovered Snaptic about a year into my social media journey, and just to explain it in its simplest form. All Snaptic does is you can go to send your reel from Instagram that you've made, take the link for sending it and copy and paste that into Snaptic. And what it does is it downloads your video and you can then repost it with the click of a button to any platform you choose. The really cool thing about it is it removes all the watermarks. And what that means is that the algorithm, say on Instagram, will push it. Whereas if you just download it with the watermark from TikTok on it and put it onto Instagram without removing the watermark, the chances are the algorithm won't push it. So the really cool thing with Snaptic as well is it becomes this kind of database where you can copy and paste. Let's just say you had 1,000 videos on Instagram. You can copy and paste them all into Snaptic, and then you've got them on your phone and you can repost them to YouTube Shorts, to TikTok, to Facebook, anywhere that you want at the click of a button. The other really cool thing is Instagram and TikTok don't mind if you've used a piece of footage before. So if it's done really well 6 months ago and you haven't posted it for a while, the cool thing is you can just go into your Snaptic, scroll down your database, have a look and go, I didn't post that for 3-4 months. You can repost it and chances are it'll do just as well. So Snaptic is an awesome, awesome tool for anyone who's consistently posting. Not only because you can repost, but because it becomes this kind of hard drive in a sense, this database of all of the posts that you've made, and it makes it so easy to repost them. ManyChat is an awesome, awesome piece of software, which I recommend anyone at the advanced stage use. How ManyChat works is, imagine I want to sell tickets for an online event. So before ManyChat, what I would have to do is organize the online event, tell people to click on the link in my bio and go and get tickets, or tell people to message me and then directly send them tickets. What you can do with ManyChat is you can set up an automation so that certain keywords will trigger an automated response that's going to send someone the link that you choose straight to their inbox. It's the coolest thing ever. I used to spend so long sending people tickets for gigs or links to a video or links to an event that I was doing. And now all I need to do is set up one automation and I can just say to people the likes of comment Edinburgh if you want tickets for the Edinburgh show, or comment Masterclass if you want a link to the video, or comment YouTube to get a link to my YouTube, comment shop to get a link to my shop. And I just can automate it on ManyChat to send them exactly what I want to send them with one word that I choose. There's lots of videos on YouTube that will teach you how to use ManyChat properly, so I'm not going to go through that with you here. And also what I would say is that ManyChat's really a tool for you if you are way further on in your social media journey. But if you've been seeing these posts online where people are saying, comment course to get my course, and there's loads of comments saying course, they're probably using ManyChat. That's probably what you're seeing. Those are two little pieces of AI technology that can make your life way easier as a creator. And I'll see you in the next video. In the final section of the social media course, what I want to speak to you guys about is leverage and levers. What I've learned in my 2 years of really going for it on social media, really learning the ins and outs of how social media works and how it works for me, how it has worked most effectively for me, is social media is the ultimate leverage. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me give you one example. I kept asking myself, how can I book more work in less time, right? And as a songwriter, I used to email venues. I used to spend an inordinate amount of time emailing venues and asking them, hey, can I come and play your venue? Would you like to have me come and play a show? Here's what I've done. Here's who I am. Here's some proof and some evidence that I'm a decent person to have come and play a show at your venue. And when I started to ask myself, how can I book more work in less time? The conclusion I came to was, well, what if I just did a post asking people whether they could help me do a gig? And I started to realize the really cool thing about social media is you can offer services and you can offer things in a very, very decentralized way. So just to explain what I mean by that, I do a lot of village hall gigs now where I'll go on Facebook and say, hey, I'm looking to come and play. Do you know somewhere you wish there was more music? Do you feel confident you could get 50 people to come to a show? Let's talk. Let's put on a show. So rather than going to one person who owns a venue and asking them if I can have a show and then asking them to help me promote the show, what I realized was rather than sending that one email, I can do one post and it can potentially hit 1,000 to 2,000 people who can see it. And out of that, if 1% of them maybe have some interest in working with me to put on a gig, it's a much better use of my time. And what's more, the cool thing about social media is you can use it to put yourself in spaces where there's kind of less competition. So in the music industry, I can put myself in spaces like community centres and village halls and all these places where they're delighted to hear from a world-class musician who's looking to come and do a show. And so you've taken yourself and put yourself in a very valuable place. You've not changed the value of what you do. The value of what you do is still the same, but you've used the leverage of social media to get yourself in front of more people who can help you do the things that you want to do. And what I want to recommend and offer is social media is a means for you to give yourself permission to be creative. That's the really fun thing about social media. And going right back full circle to the start when we spoke about the whole concept of mindset, if you're a creative person, if you're an artist, if you're a songwriter, if you're a business owner, which is another form of creativity, give yourself permission to be creative. Give yourself permission to think, well, maybe if you are a candle maker, right? Are there restaurants that would like to have your candles in it? It doesn't have to just be the distributors. It doesn't have to just be the Amazons or whoever. If you're a songwriter, are there restaurants that would have you do a food and gig night? And maybe that would be a great night and 50 people would come and they'd all pay $50 and you'd get 50% of it or something like that. The really cool thing about social media is if you just DM 100 people a day on Instagram that are in, well, not even in your industry, but say if you have a cool offer, right, that was like thinking off of the top of my head, right, if I just decided I wanted to do some gigs in hotels, I guarantee you if I DM'd 100 hotels a day in Scotland and England, what are the chances that one of them doesn't get back and say, yeah, we could talk about doing a show? And it's like long-term thinking, right? Because it might be that I don't see any money from that for 9 months and I end up going there, build a relationship. First gig isn't that amazing, but we make some money and then I build a good connection. And then a year later, they ask me back and we do a meal and a gig. And what I want to offer you is that creative spirit, that creative mindset that you can bring to connecting to people is just so exciting. It's such a cool thing. It's like having everybody's phone number. When you think about it, you can message anybody, text anybody, phone anybody. And chances are, if they're a modern business, someone will get back to you. Now, the cool thing with big offers as well on social media, as I mentioned in the last section, if you're getting started, what you want to do is make as big an offer as you can without cracking a smile for your services. And the cool thing is anyone can become a doctor. So I've kind of become like a doctor of song and creativity in the last 5 years. What do I mean by that? Well, it used to be that maybe you had to go to university to get a degree to then be qualified to make good money and offer high-level services. Now, if you have the background and you're watching this, so I think you probably do. I think you probably have a business or you have art, you have stuff you've made. You can develop a high-level service sell it, learn from selling it, learn from doing it, get better at it. And within 3-4 years, you can be at the level that a doctor's at in terms of income, in terms of offers, in terms of the services that you're offering people. So you can kind of take yourself through a university course of sorts while getting paid good money to learn your craft. So again, coming back to the hook story offer, once you're getting really big attention, I would recommend having services and gifts at like £2 to £2.50, right? What I mean by this is like once you hit 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, and those guys are all over the world, at that stage I would recommend having services and gifts. So it could be a membership site, it could be a little donation for your concert if you're a musician, or little small pieces of art if you're an artist that does bigger pieces, or exhibition tickets or gig tickets, things between £2 and £50. These can be linked into your post in your pinned comments. And if you use something like ManyChat, setting this kind of automation up is really easy. And if you have that combination of smaller offers and bigger offers, then you're starting to build multiple income streams. And it's a very powerful kind of snowball effect over time. The pinned comment is a very, very powerful and fun thing to play with, because once you start getting viral attention on posts, you're getting thousands of eyes on your posts. You know, I've had offers inside of my pinned comments that have just said, do you live somewhere you wish there was more music? And pinned it in a viral post, and then had people get in touch and then book me for shows. This is what I mean about the creativity. So let's just say you're an artist. It could be that your pinned comment and you're getting attention on your post because you've created the skill set of creating viral posts. Your pinned comment could be like, send this please to anyone who you think it would be great to have an exhibition of this work. And then maybe 4 months later, you get a message from someone who goes, oh, someone sent me your thing. So it's like you can build all this stuff to be relatively evergreen if you're smart about it. By evergreen, what I mean is if you have a viral post and a pinned comment, it's an asset to your business because it can be getting you attention and offers and opportunity through the door long after you've posted it. What's more, as I mentioned before, if something does well, you can repost it 6 months later and then pin a comment and use that to direct the attention, to funnel the attention in a way that works for your business. The other thing you can do if you're a songwriter or a musician is create an official artist account for streaming revenue. What I mean by this is if you upload your passport to TikTok and you upload your passport to Instagram, you can become the official artist for your music on Spotify. Effectively what it is you're linking your actual Spotify, official Spotify account with your social media. Now, a lot of artists don't do this. They just use social media like everyone else does, and they just have an account that's not linked to the Spotify and then tell people to go and stream their music. Obviously, if you're an artist, it's way smarter to have the Spotify linked to your social media so that you can say things like, just click that bottom right circle, it'll take you straight to my Spotify because it's linked. When you're getting larger numbers of streaming, you can make pretty good money off of streaming. It is possible. There are people who make a lot of money off streaming. You just have to have a ton of volume doing that. So it's a kind of different game. But if that's one you want to play, it's there for you. There's people who have like a million monthly listeners and they're getting good money off of streaming. So if that's how you want to play it, I personally am more like services and my club. I'm working on the streaming side of things and I'm going to build that more, but that's a slower burn. It takes time. It takes time to get to 1 million followers on Spotify. If you're an artist, you could use something like YouTube for passive income. If you get up to 4,000 watch hours, you start to get ad revenue from YouTube. And so the other cool thing on YouTube is you can, in videos that are over a minute long, you can pin a comment. when you pin a comment, you can have a clickable link on YouTube. So for example, on this video, I'm going to have a clickable link. And if you want to book a coaching call, if you've watched all this and you want to book an initial call to discuss me working with you to help you grow your social media, just click the link in the top comment and let's chat as an example. So guys, that's all I've got. I hope there's been some value for you in this video. As I just mentioned, if you do want to talk about me working with you to grow your social media, I'd be delighted. It'd be my honor. Reach out by clicking the link in the top comment. And my conclusion on this course, guys, is simply give yourself permission to be creative. Social media can be a lot of fun if you give yourself permission to be creative. If you're looking at it as a drag, if you're looking at it as something mechanical, you're never really going to enjoy it. But if you look at it as a game that you can play and get better, and a place where you can be creative, create interesting visuals, create interesting noises, create attention, have fun, dress different, go to cool places, live a cool life, promote your work, give yourself permission to be creative on there. And I guarantee that if you implement that and all of the technical stuff that I've shared with you, you can do it. I did it. I had no previous experience. Everything that I'm told you in this course is just stuff that I learned by doing loads. And the final thought I want to leave you with is just once you're skilled, you can start to enjoy it. Don't expect to enjoy it when you're not yet skilled, but you will enjoy it once you develop the skills. I enjoy it now, and I hated it before. But once you feel confident, once you feel competent, and you feel like you're starting to create really great results, you will start to enjoy it. And joy comes after. Just stack the skills, stack the time, and you know where I am. If you need my help, if you need me to help you build your social media and just be there, because a lot of it is just the support side of it. And all the people who I coach, the main things that we discuss are just like, what do you do when the criticism comes up and you need someone to chat to about, or your mum doesn't really get it, or your sister's down on it, or people are negative, or you just can't be bothered posting, all that stuff. I get it, I've been there. So if you want a hand doing it, reach out and we can talk about working together. Good luck to you guys. God bless you. Thanks very much for listening, and don't forget to click the link in the top comment if you do want to reach out for a wee call. Have a great day. Bye-bye.